In this week's car craziness, I get to ride in an American classic with the biggest fins in the world, a 1959 Cadillac. Plus, we look at high-performance sports car alternatives in the shape of some kit cars. This is Roy Aspin, owner of this beautiful car. Roy, what type of car is it?
It's a 1959 Cadillac Sedan DeVille.
And how did you get your hands on it?
Well, 5 years ago I saw it advertised in a magazine. It was advertised in Ilkley.
Yeah.
But where I actually bought it from, the chap who had it is in Otley, bottom of Pool Bank, just outside Leeds.
And did he import it from America?
I believe so, yes.
And why did he sell it then?
Short of money. He needed the money.
So is this the first American car you've owned then?
Oh no, I've had lots.
Yeah.
I've had Chevrolets, Buicks, Lincolns, Cadillacs.
So why American cars? What do they do for you that British cars don't?
Because they're far superior.
Yeah, why is that then?
Because they're better made, they look better, they are better, they drive better, they're smoother, they're quieter.
They're bigger?
Bigger.
So what can you tell us about your car then? What work have you had to do on it so far?
Well, I was lucky that the body was straight.
Yeah.
No bumps, no rust. A lot of chrome work were damaged or missing. Got to have an aerial made.
Where did you have that made then?
In America. They sent it over to my door for £200. Whereas in Leeds, I tried to buy one off a Rolls Royce, which was obsolete, and it didn't fit right, and they wanted over £200.
So you got a bargain then, really?
I certainly got a bargain, yeah.
So that's the only thing you've had to replace then, the aerial?
Yeah, and some of the chrome work.
Now, the 50s was an important era for the Cadillacs, and a lot of changes happened. Can you tell us a little bit about the history?
History? Well, the history of the Cadillac, they were the first to start with the fins.
Yeah.
In 47, and from 47 they grew until they got to your 59. But the most expensive Cadillac was your 57 or your 58. I can't remember which one it was. It had a stainless steel roof. In the glove compartment it had silver goblets. I think it was 5 of those, and silver compact. The car was so expensive to make they couldn't sell it for the price they made it for. So every car they sold it at a loss. But then they brought out the 59 because they went to the peak of the fins, which is 42 inch.
My word, it's like a shark.
And then after that they started to go small again. The 60 is just slightly smaller until you get to your 64. That was the last of the fins.
So what influenced the size of the fins then?
Well, I believe it was the space age.
Yeah.
It wasn't just on the fins. If you look at some of the American cars, the dash is so extravagant.
Yeah.
It's like being inside a rocket in some of them. This is quite good, but it's not as good as some. The country it was so rich at that time.
Yeah.
That they just went crazy, if you like. They went for the biggest, the best, who could do the biggest fins, who could do the best this, who could have the more chrome. And it was one of the things the Americans like to do.
How big is this car then? Because it looks massive to me.
It's just over 20 foot.
20 foot?
Yes.
So you do struggle to find a car parking space then?
Well, I don't take it into Morrison's car park for a start.
And width-wise?
Width-wise, it's 6'3".
So what size engine is this then, Roy?
390.
Yeah.
In other words, a 6.3 litre engine.
So powerful.
Very powerful.
Eats the fuel.
Very much, yeah. Yeah, it does about 8 miles per gallon.
Oh.
That's round town. I might be on a run, get about 12 on a run.
And why is it painted in these colours then?
Well, that is the colours the Cadillac are. All American vehicles have got their own colours. If it were a Chevrolet, it'd be orangey red.
Yeah.
If it were a Ford, it'd be lighter blue, and so on. You know, so they all could say, well, that is definitely the colour they are. I don't know if the modern engines are the same these days, but because they're so big, there's that much enough room.
Well, I'll tell you what, I could eat my dinner off it. It's so immaculate.
Well, the pan would do some sausages, wouldn't it?
How have you got it this way?
Hard work.
Yeah.
Very hard work. I had to steam clean it in the first place to get all the clay and bits of stones out of it. Then it took me a long while to rub it down with sandpaper by hand, and then undercoated it and brought it back to its colour it should be.
It looks lovely. Now, does this car take leaded fuel?
Yes.
So what are you doing about the changeover?
Well, today is the first time I've put some unleaded in. I put straightforward unleaded in because I had just under half or just over half a tank of 4-star already in, so I didn't think it'd do any harm. I can't make up my mind yet whether I'm going to use this LRP or additives.
So can you tell the difference now when you've driven it now and it's got unleaded in it?
Well, this morning I've driven over to here, and it was no different. It's driven nice.
So you're just going to stick to unleaded then?
Oh, I think I'll just stick to unleaded. I was in America not long ago, and I was talking to some Americans who have classic cars, and they were saying if I'm not driving the car every day, all day, and putting my foot down, don't worry, just put your unleaded in and just drive it sedately. And that's what I think I'm going to do.
Talk about putting your foot down. What's the top speed?
Well, it'll do what it says on the clock. It'll do 120 when police aren't looking.
So you've taken it to that then?
No.
I was going to say, it'll do about 3 to the gallon then, won't it?
Oh, I think we'll just get about 100 yards down the road.
Well, these fins are massive. What do they measure at?
42 inches. They're the biggest fin on any American car.
Biggest fin in the world?
Yes, I would say so.
And they've carried on the rocket theme, haven't they, with these...
The tail lights, yeah. Commonly known as ice cream cones.
Oh, well, they do look like a bit like something like a Batmobile or something like that.
Well, this is it. Kiddies, when I go to shows, they think it's a Batmobile.
Yeah.
And I kid them on and I say, well, come back at 4 o'clock and you'll see me fire them off. And they love it.
I bet they're there at 4 o'clock, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Some of them.
Well, this is an absolutely massive boot. You could fit a family of 4 in there, couldn't you, really?
Yes, you can, but remember the old films where you saw them throw bodies in?
Yeah.
Now you know how easy it is because they're so big.
Well, that's it. And they've carried on the grill and rocket theme in the back as well.
Yeah.
And you even got, is that the original number plate?
That is the number plate they shoot to it when it was brought into this country.
Right. So it doesn't stand for any
No, I wish
it
it did. I wish I could have a personalised one because I could, but if I could afford it, ASP1N.
Oh.
Aspin.
Yeah. Great stuff. Well, shall you open the boot then?
Yes, I certainly can. There we go.
Immaculate inside like everything else in the car.
Yes.
Right, and what are those clocks?
Those are 2 wheel trims off a 72 Cadillac I used to own. They were spares.
Yeah.
And when I sold the car, I forgot to give them to the new owner, so I made them into clocks.
Well, we've taken a look around the car now, but the best way to get the great feel of how the car goes is do a bit of cruising.
You're going to have an experience.
Oh, I can't wait. So what's it like to drive then?
A dream.
Better than your other one?
Definitely.
Why is that then?
Oh, because it's at its age. It's so good for its age. It's just unbelievable. I mean, as you can feel, it's so smooth and it's quiet. It's got the power.
So, have you ever had anybody come up to you and knock on your door and say, "Oh, I'd love your car. Can I buy it or can I borrow it?"
Yes. I've had people and have said, "Look, your window down," from another car.
Yeah.
And saying, "I like your car. Is it for sale?"
Really?
And you just say, "Well, anything for sale if the price is right."
Yeah. So, if somebody offered you a lot of money for this car, would you sell it?
Yes, if it were enough.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Even though you've put all your heart and soul into this,
Yeah.
your baby.
Yeah, because I'd like the same model but the Barrett's.
Right. So how much would you want for it?
Well, that's hard to say.
Yeah.
Anything, whatever I can get, as long as it's a lot. Because I don't know what value to put on it.
How much did you pay for it?
Well, I stole the car, if you like, off the chap. I only paid $8,000 for it.
Bargain and a half then.
It certainly was.
And you'll sell it for a hell of a lot more now.
Definitely.
So it's a head turner.
Head turner, you'll certainly, yeah, definitely. People what wave to you, wondering I suppose who was inside it, but yeah, people wave and stop you, and it's just amazing.
So what advice would you give to someone who was looking to buy a Cadillac then?
Well, that depends on what they're hoping to do with it, whether it's a rebuild one or and have to spend a lot of money and a lot of time, or buy one what's very straight and practically nearly ready for shows.
Yeah. So what things would I look for if fault-wise, what you don't want to go wrong, which is hard to fix type of thing?
Well, obvious thing you don't want to go wrong is gearbox, automatic gearboxes, and your engine, of course. Although parts for American cars aren't as dear as English.
Really?
No, you'd be surprised.
So what's the insurance like on this motor then?
Very good actually, because it's done on classic.
Yeah.
And I do it for 3,000 mile a year, which the price brings that to £170. That's fully comprehensive, including windscreen, lawyers if I need them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
That's very cheap, isn't it?
Yes, for a kind of car it is, yeah.
So do you enter it into many competitions then?
Yes, as many as I can.
Yeah.
I can't get to them all, of course, But I do well when I do get there.
What have you won then?
I've won in the last 2 seasons. I've won 24 trophies.
Well, it felt great to be cruising in one of America's classic motoring icons. It's only a shame that we weren't in the US, because I quite fancied a drive-in movie.
What does real Yorkshire mean?
Nice folk.
Nice folk.
Oh, definitely.
Listen, why are all the men chauvinists in Yorkshire?
I don't know, to be honest.
Do you
What,
think?
do you think Yorkshire men are chauvinists?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. No,
Not at all.
not at all, no. No, some nice folk. It's Lancashire men that are,
Is it?
definitely.
How do you know?
'Cause I'm married to one.
You have a lot of problems with women drivers.
The most problems with women drivers, yes.
Right. What sort of things did he do that makes you mad?
Things that I wouldn't do. I seem to take a lot of notice of the road conditions and stuff, whereas I don't think they necessarily do.
Right.
But if you see women walking around the town, they're just the same without a car.
What do you mean?
They'll walk backwards without looking at where they're going, or they'll just decide to move this way without telling you where they're going to go, or looking around, things like that.
Right. Can I ask you a question? And I want you to be honest now. Have you ever been out of an ugly guy just because he had a nice car?
No.
What about you?
No.
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 Right. In one word, how would you describe Yorkshire men?
Big noses.
Thank you. Right. In one word, can you sum up Yorkshire men? That'll do. In one word, can you sum up Yorkshire men?
No.
Who makes a better driver, men or women? Women. Why are women better drivers?
Because they think about what they're doing.
Women are more considerate. Are we talking about driving now or something else?
Talking about driving.
That's exactly what can I ask you, are you both married? You are? Can I ask you a question before you're married? Before you were married, did you ever go out with an ugly bloke just because he had a nice car?
Never.
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 In one word, can you sum up women drivers?
Yes.
That'll do, thank you very much. Right, now I've heard that Yorkshire men sort of drive like they make love. They drive very fast and they pull out too quickly.
I wouldn't know, they don't go long enough.
In one word, can you sum up men drivers?
Rubbish.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Are you married?
No.
Do you want to know why you're not married?
Go on then.
I want to be cheeky.
After the break, I get my kit off. Well, I drive one anyway. Now you're bored. You've got yourself a bit of money. You like high-performance vehicles, but you can't afford, say, a Porsche or a Ferrari. What do? You get yourself a kit car. Now we've come to York today to see what it's all about. So what type of car is this then, Don?
This is our Raider. It's a new chassis which we have developed and put a competition-style bodywork on it
Yes.
as a means of proving the chassis before we develop alternative body styles.
So this is an uphill quarter-mile racer, or?
Yes, I've used it at Howard Hill Climb on a regular basis to prove the chassis in competition work before we put additional bodies on it.
So did you build this from scratch yourself?
I didn't, but it was built here in the workshop. Took about 400 hours as it's a prototype.
And how much would it cost you to make a car like this?
That car could be put on the road for about 6,500 plus a competition engine, which could cost anything from a few thousands to many thousands.
So I thought kit cars were supposed to have a Q plate. Now this one's got an R plate. How does that work?
Well, this is because it was built full of new parts, and therefore we can register it as a new car.
So what engine do you have inside this vehicle?
A 4.6 litre V8 Rover.
So did you model it on any specific car that you'd seen in the past?
No, we started off by trying to keep the corporate shape of the kidney, which was used on the other models. The plough-like shape at the front is designed specifically to give us lots of downforce to keep the car on the ground at speeds.
So is this your favourite car?
Yes, I think it's great fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it during the summer, using it for commuting to and from home.
Right, and would you say most of your customers like to build them themselves or vice versa?
No, the majority like to build them themselves. It's part of the pleasure of having the car at the end of the day.
Right, well that's fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit about this car? Because I know it has an interesting story to it.
Yes, this was a car which was built for Bruce the Price is Right.
Right.
It was won by a woman from Birmingham who unfortunately couldn't get it into a garage. and very reluctantly sold it back to us.
So how long did it take you to build this car then?
About 120 hours.
And is this a standard model?
Yes, it is a standard model. It's fitted with a 2-litre Ford engine and goes exceedingly well.
So petrol-wise, does it consume a lot of petrol?
No, because the car is light,
Yes.
it probably averages about 30 miles to the gallon.
Oh, that's fantastic. Right, shall we move on to this car then? Now this car is linked to Sterling Moss and the Mille Miglia. Could you tell us about that race and the history behind this actual vehicle?
Yes, this was done by a gentleman who was doing some design work for us, who thought he could change the shaping from the Romero
Right.
by giving us a full depth wing.
Yes.
And he was inspired by some articles at that time about the Mille Miglia, and that's how we got the name and the style. Sterling Moss won the Mille Miglia in the 50s,
Yes.
driving a car something like this.
And does Sterling Moss actually own one of these cars?
Unfortunately, no, but he did sit in it at a recent show.
Right. Okay, and the final car now, which I'm hoping that you're going to let me drive, is also just one of your standard models.
Yes, it is.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, this was our original Romero demonstrator, which was built some 2 years ago and is fitted
Right.
with a Nissan 1.8 turbo, which is giving us about 200 brake horsepower to the ton.
Wow.
Which is a lot more than most sports cars.
Right, so we're inside the workshop now of the Yorkshire kit cars. And what goes on? What's the main activity going on in here?
Our main activity here is building and renovating cars. We obviously have a situation where we sell kits, and in this particular case, looking at the blue one here, this was a kit we sold to a customer in '93,
Right.
who unfortunately has not been able to finish it and has asked us to do it.
Right, so generally people do start off building them, go wrong, and you sort it out. Is that the gist?
Well, not go wrong, they just sort of run out of time and ask us to finish.
So you've never actually had a car brought in here before that is an absolute disaster and you've had to really take it apart again and remanufacture it?
Not quite, no.
So what are these cars that we've got here then, Don? I really like this colour.
This is a Lotus Elan, which we're doing a complete renovation for a customer who lives in the States.
Wow. So you have customers that far afield?
Yes, we do. He has asked us to do the bodywork up, complete overhaul of engine, gearbox and everything else.
Yes.
And we hope to ship it out to him in about 8 weeks' time.
So how long have you actually had this vehicle?
We've had it here about 9 months.
Because I can see you don't even actually have a seat inside. Are you going to build the interior as well?
Yes, we'll completely refurbish the interior, new carpets, recover the seats, etc.
So how do your customers actually hear about you? Because you're based in Yorkshire, in the middle of practically nowhere.
Basically reputation. We've been in business for a long time.
Yes.
Steve has been making and repairing kit cars for probably 16, 17 years, and obviously we've got quite a good reputation.
So what got you into the business then?
I met Steve when he finished a car for me.
Oh, right. And what car was that, a kit car?
Yes, it was a kit car, which he finished for me in 1989, and in 92 we had the opportunity of buying some cars from another manufacturer.
Yes.
And we got into partnership then.
So what type of car is this then, Don?
This is an MG.
Yeah. What's the difference between an MG and an NG?
An MG is the car produced by Rover over the years.
Yes.
An NG is a car designed by a man called Nick Green in the 80s,
Right.
using MGB running gear.
Okay. And who actually owns this vehicle?
It's owned by a gentleman in Sweden. The interesting thing about this is that he's the man that invented the Magic Tree car air fresheners.
Oh, that's quite interesting. And how long have you actually had this vehicle in the workshop?
It's been in the workshop about 6 months. Obviously, we've had a lot of work to do on it in converting it from right-hand drive to left-hand drive.
Well, that's it for all the boring talking. Here's where the real action begins, on the open road. Let's go. Amazingly, there are about 65,000 kit cars on British roads. Prices range from as little as £2,000 up to £35,000. They are surprisingly safe, which means insurance is typically half the price of a normal car, and they can last for up to 20 years, making them environmentally friendly. Not bad at all, really. I thing about driving the Remera is it has a mighty 2-litre engine and you can feel the power the minute you put your foot down. So it's nothing to look at inside, but for £8,000, what do you expect? I would suggest that you take it to the south of France or something like that though, because it's, well, in summer it's okay, but for winter there's no side protection and it is absolutely freezing. Well, I've been out in the car and it's been raining and I've been cold, but I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I think these are the bee's knees, so I'm going to buzz off.
Right, I've come to Sheffield to meet some good-looking, down-to-earth women. I couldn't find any, so I've had to chat to these lot here.
Thank you very much.
Now listen, do you think Yorkshire men are a bit tight?
Oh, definitely.
They don't like treat a girl when they take her out?
No, no chance, no. We have to pay.
You have to pay?
Yeah.
Do you go Dutch or do you have to pay all? What do you think of Yorkshire people?
I guess I have to say they're lovely.
And what do you really think?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know what's so special about Yorkshire people.
We're talking about cars actually as well. What sort of car do you drive in Toronto?
Jeep Grand Cherokee?
And do you think that reflects your personality?
No, because I'm a sports car person.
So you normally like sports cars. So why do you think a sports car reflects your personality?
Because I'm young, I'm vibrant, I like fast cars, a fast lifestyle, but working hard, my rewards.
Telling lies as well, aren't you? Right, do you think it's true that the type of car that you drive reflects your personality?
Yeah, I think so. I think it does, yeah.
What sort of car do you drive, mate?
Vauxhall Cavalier.
So why do you think that suits your personality?
Tough to say, really, because it's quite nippy, although I'm not really nippy myself.
Do you think, on the whole, cars are more reliable than men?
Cows are more reliable?
Cars are more reliable than men?
As a whole, yeah.
You do?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So have you had a few men that's let you down?
No, the man that I do have is very good, but casually, yeah, a lot of men, you can't really rely on them. No.
And you think sort of men drive cars like they make love?
Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Actually, yeah.
How does your husband drive?
He drives very well.
In next week's show, I visit one of the biggest sports car dealerships in Europe and drive a Maserati. Plus, we look back to last year and a visit to the Yorkshire Motor Festival.